Alright, so as promised in the video previous to this one, this is a K7400, fresh off the heels of the U2000 that we just repaired in the previous video, where I talked about how that one and this one belong to the same person, and we got the U2000 all fixed up. I capped it, reflowed it, rebuilt the neck board, all the standard stuff off camera, so that one is done and fixed and ready to go. Now we have the K7400 that they have here that says P719 chassis, don't know the type. It says K7400. Well, in case you aren't aware, you can look here and see it says WGM 2474. That is a Wills Gardner Monitors 24-inch K7400, but there's no difference between this 24-inch, 25-inch, and 27-inch. The 24-inch you don't see a lot of. This is actually out of a die-hard cabinet, which is why it's the 24-inch, but regardless, the issue is that it shuts down intermittently, goes into shutdown intermittently. So it is working. The person that owns this sent me a picture of it working, and it looks glorious. But it is all original, hasn't been reflowed, hasn't been touched, hasn't been recapped, hasn't been reworked, all that stuff. So we're going to have to go through and do all that. Not going to show all that, but the purpose of this video is going to be showing how to adjust the shutdown pot and check things like that. So the most likely cause of it going into random shutdown is just the caps need replaced. The second most likely cause is the shutdown pot needs to be adjusted. The problem we have here is that it's completely glued so badly that we're likely going to break it when we try to free the glue up. If you look here, it's just so caked on there that there's likely not any way I'm going to be able to get that freed up. So it does operate and run, so we're not going to worry about trying to test it beforehand. I just want to see if maybe, I mean, it's a 2K ohm pot. If I recall correctly, is it 2K or 10K? I'll have to look it up. It's either 2K or 10K. I think it's 2K if I was to recall correctly, but we'll figure it out later. For now, we're not going to have to worry about that if we don't break it. If we do break it, then we're going to have to replace it, which it will come into. We're going to have to find out if it's 10K or 2K. Pretty sure it's 2K. Anyway, what I have here are these Play-Doh, not the Aristotle or Socrates. These are the Play-Doh flush cut diagonal cutters, and you want to use these to try and cut this glue. Alright, so now we've freed up the cap. Now we have to try and get this clipped to where this pot will turn without breaking. Okay, there's that part of it. Now we just kind of have to try and do this. And this stuff will kind of crack off of there. There's not really any kind of adhesive remover or anything that you can use. Alcohol doesn't work. Acetone might dissolve it, but you might damage the board while you're doing it. And you want to, obviously be cognizant of the pot itself and not try to break the or crack the white plastic part. I'm not sure if we got it. What you can do is clip a little bit more of this off of here. Now the edge of the pot here that indicates its direction, you can kind of grab it with the pliers like this and try to move it. There's still too much glue on there. Sometimes you can get lucky and it'll move while you're trying to cut the glue. Not quite yet. Hey, we got it! It can move while you're trying to cut the glue. Case in point. So now we have successfully freed up our shutdown pot, and if we adjust it, look at that, fantastic. Well, that worked out. So Yeah, I'll still look up the reading or rating of what it should be. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure it's 2K, but I could be wrong. You know, there's that 0.1%, but now we can adjust this as needed. All right, so we'll put it back roughly where it was. Now let's get this on a tube and hook it up and see what it's supposed to read. Now the way you check this is there is a test point here, TP201. That test point to ground should be 0.1 volts DC, 0.1. So we need to make sure it's 0.1. If it is, then we'll have to cap it and reflow it. And then, you know, if it works, I'll have to let it run for a number of hours and just make sure that it doesn't shut down, because shutdown is the hardest thing to try and replicate because it's random and you don't know what causes it. It could be the tube that the person is using the chassis on, but the fact that this is not rebuilt and hasn't been reflowed or anything, I'm also positive that just capping it, reflowing it, and getting that pot set properly will likely bring this back to normal. So, okay, let's get on a tube and test it out and see what this reads and adjust it as need be. Okay, the K7400 is on the tube, ready to go. Everything is hooked up. We got our anode, neck, yoke, ground, power, video remote, all ready to go. Now I do also have the meter hooked up here to the B+, because I want to verify the B+ is around 117, and I also did the same treatment to the B+ pot as the shutdown pot. It had far less glue on it, one little snap and it freed up. So I want to be able to adjust B+, then once that's good, then we can adjust our shutdown pot. So let's go ahead and turn this on. I have not turned it on yet, so let's just make sure that it actually survives shipping and everything, which I'm sure it will, and see what it does. And I got a cap kit here ready to go. I obviously haven't done much with it yet. So all right, let's turn this on and see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Holy crap, 123. That's not good. That's why I check this stuff. And it also will change after we do the cap kit a little bit, but it does work. So let's shut this down. Now I have the meter set up here for negative on the DAG and positive on that output of L100 there. But the actual B+ test point on this chassis is right here. There's a little pin right there next to that cap. That's where your actual correct B+ test point is. But that connects directly to that output side of L100. So it's just easier to get to right there. Okay, so B+. I can't use a screwdriver because it's got a bunch of glue all over it. Right there. I'm just going to take it and turn it slightly counterclockwise. Okay, let's see what that does. Yeah, that's the way we have to go. So that was way out of adjustment. Let's see what that does. 118, closer. I'm turning it counterclockwise here with just my 2 fingers because I can't get my whole hand in there. Here we go. Okay, 116.9. Fantastic. We'll call it 117.1. There we go. All right, so B+ is good. Now, let's remove this jumper, and we will connect it to this test point right here. Right there. And we should get somewhat close to 0.1. And we'll hook this up here, and what do we get? 0.0. Well, that's a problem. Should turn this. Wait a minute. Did I say that right? That pot I turned counterclockwise. Did I say counterclockwise? That pot I had to turn counterclockwise. This one I'm also going to have to turn counterclockwise. If I said clockwise, I'm sorry, but counterclockwise for B+ and counterclockwise for shutdown. So I'm going to take this and turn it counterclockwise from our orientation right now to the left. We want to get to 0.1. Nope, wrong way, clockwise. I'm wrong on all aspects. That's why this is the amateur channel. We're turning it clockwise. 0.1 is what we want to get to. And I can't turn it any more than that. I'm being stopped by glue. There we go. Whoa, too far. We'll call that good. 0.103.2. Well, our B+ was way off, and our shutdown pot was way off. Now, it might have moved a little bit when I cut the glue, but it didn't move that much. I mean, I turned it at least like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. That pot is now, compared to where because if you recall, the edge here where it indicates the position was like over here by the V are. Now it's way over here, like at the, I don't know, 3 o'clock position. So I turned it from, I think, maybe 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and that's what we had to do to get it to the 0.1. So I didn't turn it that much when I cut the glue off of there. So I think that was adjusted improperly, which that helps. And the B plus was adjusted improperly, so that helps. So the shutdown might be combined with caps and incorrectly adjusted pots. But like I say, all of this will change. I have to go through here and redo B plus and redo shutdown after I do the caps. So, but I think that's going to get this problem solved. And obviously, this needs to be adjusted. Let's just make sure the image is decent here before we go too far. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, so, and of course this is on a different tube than what it came from. So, all right, now that that's done, turn this back up a little bit. Oh yeah, the pot is awful touchy. But there we go. All right, so I'm gonna get this off the tube. I'll cap it, reflow it, do the normal neckboard rework, even though this is the more updated one with the better heat sinks. I'll get that rework done. Everything else done. We'll come back, we'll check it out, inspect it, and then we'll hook it back up here, do one final adjustment and testing, and call this one resolved. Well, and just like that, about an hour later, just over an hour later, all the rework has been done. Cap kit, reflow, inspection, neckboard rework, all the normal stuff. So now we are ready to get it back on the tube and recheck our B plus and our shutdown pot, and if we need to adjust them, we'll adjust them. And then I'll let it run for a number of hours, make sure it doesn't shut down, and assuming it's not going to shut down, then we'll call this one done. So we'll get it back on the tube and see what we got. All right, back on the tube. We're hooked back up with our B plus first, just to see what it reads, and I am connected to the correct test point there as opposed to the L100. Either one works, so this time we're going to hook up to the actual test point. And we're sitting there at 0.009 volts, and 10 volts. It's creeping up because of the meters hooked up to it, acting like a little bit of a capacitor. So yeah, let's turn it on, make sure nothing blows up, make sure I didn't do any kind of mistake, and then see where our B plus is at. And if it's way off from 117 after the cap kit, we'll adjust it. Same thing for the shutdown pod, and see what we got. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see, we're off by about a volt now. From we were at like what, 117.1, and it does work. Yeah, so we're off by about a volt. So we need to readjust our B plus, which we'll do here shortly. But let's check our shutdown pot again. Should be about 0.1, and look how far off we are now. Just from doing the cap kit, it went from 0.1 to 0.4 just from doing the cap kit. Now. We may end up having to put this right back where it was. So if I turn this counterclockwise to the left, yeah, interesting. So 0.1, 0.4, and it's, no, it's not quite where it was. It still is to the right slightly. Originally, you know, it was much more about I'd say a 2 o'clock position. Now it's about between 2 and 3 position, clockwise anyway. So it is a bit different. It did need to be adjusted. So now we've got it set to 0.1, and of course it changes depending on what's on the screen. You know, it's going through the attract mode here. I haven't made any brightness or contrast adjustments, but you can see there 0.1, and then when the screen changes 0.14, and you know, when it gets through the attract mode here, it should change back to 0.1. Yeah, see, 0.103 when this is on here. So shutdown pot's good. We'll leave it there. Let's go back to B plus, and let's see. I'm gonna have to turn it clockwise ever so slightly here. I did turn the chassis off. I'm not stupid enough to reach in here. I do reach in and do stuff while it's running, but not while this is happening. So disclaimer there. So we'll turn it to the right ever so slightly, see what that does. 116.8, 116. Well, hey, there we go, 117. We'll leave it right there. Perfect. Okay, now let's get the camera set up and do some adjustments, see how well we can make this look here. Okay, and Looks pretty good as it is, but we do need to raise this up a little more. That's better. The angle is a bit off. Okay. That's pretty good so far, but our contrast is a bit too high. So we'll turn our contrast all the way down, brightness all the way down, screen pot up until we get, this one's glued. Gosh darn it. Well, I guess we'll leave it where it's at then. We'll just do brightness, contrast. Yeah, I can't turn the brightness up any higher than that. So I gotta break this glue loose here, which shouldn't be too difficult. Well, hold on, I'm gonna put some alcohol in that glue and have it come right off. Hang on one second. Okay, so there was a lot of glue on that screen pot there. So it came off quickly and easily with the alcohol. So let's fire this back up now. And our B plus, oh yeah, see, I turned that screen pot a lot with getting the glue off of there. So I was going to show you the B plus here, but I need to readjust this screen pot. So brightness all the way down, contrast all the way down, turn this back down until it's right about there. You don't really get raster lines on these series of chassis with the flyback all the way up. So now we'll turn the brightness up until the background is no longer black, which you don't know if you can tell, and then I'll turn it. Let's get in closer here. So now we turn brightness down until the background is black, which is roughly there. That's where we want to keep our brightness and our screen pot. Now we'll turn up our contrast accordingly. And beautiful. Let's go into the menu and go to our monitor pattern, crosshatch. Now we will adjust this to where we lose the red on, see, we're all the way off the top here, so we want to decrease our height, move our vertical position, increase our height roughly there. H position, width, roughly there. Do our width again, H position, roughly there. So that's pretty good. We are equidistant. We don't have any linearity problems. The green is pretty much dead center in the top of the whole of the frame there, so no linearity for horizontal problems like we did on the U2000. That looks pretty good, so that should be good there. Let's return to the menu, out of the menu I should say, and there you go. Let this focus up here, and yeah, glorious. Beautiful. Okay, and B plus is 116.7, close enough to 117. It's going to change there at 117.6. So you're never going to get it perfect. If I was to adjust this to 117 right now, it'd be 118 when the screen changed there. See, so B plus is good. Our shutdown is should still be good, around 0.1 somewhere. Yep, 0.114. So I think we have a successfully repaired and good to go 7400. I will leave this on for a number of hours here. It's an early Sunday morning, and I don't have any plans to go anywhere or do anything. So we'll let it run for a number of hours, make sure it doesn't shut down. I'm assuming it's not going to. Otherwise, that's about it. So as I always say, hopefully you learned something. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And up next will be another K7000 from somebody else. And then I think that will take care of the backlog for stuff for other people. Then I have all of those, I don't know, nearly 100 chassis down in the basement I have to go through. So we'll see how long it takes for me to start going through those. But otherwise, yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. Stay tuned and we'll see you next time.